What's the most unbelievably dumb thing you've ever seen someone do? My wife, who has mental health issues, wrecked our car to try and get some insurance money, but things went horribly wrong. She accidentally killed someone. Then, during the trial, she kinda lost it. It all started when Amanda, my wife, thought it would be a great idea to make some quick cash by crashing our car and claiming the damage with the insurance. I told her no way because that was our only car and we couldn't afford to lose it. But a few days later, she came home crying her eyes out. I asked her what was wrong, especially since she didn't have the car with her. After she calmed down a bit, she told me she had taken the car, saying she was going grocery shopping. Instead, she drove to a stoplight on the main road, sped up when the light was red, and crashed right into another car. Somehow, she didn't get hurt, but the other car had a 52-year-old woman and her 19-year-old daughter, and both died instantly. Amanda jumped out of the car and ran away. She said she did it for the insurance money because we needed it, but she didn't mean for things to go that far, and she panicked. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I don't even know what she was thinking, but this isn't the first time Amanda has done something like this. She's always been impulsive, but it was usually with little things like buying too many clothes or planning a trip on a whim. Crashing our car, killing 2 people, and then running away was definitely not something I expected. I first noticed her acting on impulse early in our relationship. We'd been together for about a year when she suddenly decided to quit her stable job at a marketing company to chase her dream of being a freelance photographer. She came home one night and told me she had quit that day. I was confused and asked what was going on and why she would do that. She said she was serious about her passion. Honestly, she had never talked about something so extreme. She said she saw a woman on YouTube who travels the world as a freelance photographer, and she wanted to be like her. She didn't even have a camera at the time. When I asked what made her decide so suddenly, she told me that she'd been thinking about it for a while and couldn't stand working at a job she hated. She said that the time that she spends at the firm is time that she could be putting into her own venture. She was too tired to come home from work every day and try to practice photography. I respected her courage and how spontaneous she was, but I was really worried about how we would pay the bills. We didn't have a lot of money. Still, I wanted to back her up, so I told her I believed in her. The next few months were tough without her income. We had to be really careful with our money. Amanda threw herself into her work, but it was hard to find jobs. I could see it was stressing her out, and that stressed us out too. I picked up more work at the warehouse to help out. I'd come home exhausted a lot, my feet hurting, feeling tired. But at first I didn't care too much. I loved her, and I wanted her to be happy. Seeing her excited when she booked a job or took a great photo made it worth it. I kept telling myself things would get better, and that her being impulsive was just part of who she was, part of why I loved her. But as money got tighter and her career didn't take off like she hoped, that excitement went away. It faded. Anyway, the police showed up not long after. I couldn't believe it as they charged her and tried to take her out of our apartment. She fought back, screaming like crazy. It was like a terrible dream. My wife, the woman I loved, was being dragged away in handcuffs. She kicked and screamed, saying she was being set up and that she couldn't go to jail. Then she started begging and pleading. It took 2 cops to get her into the car, and I could hear her screaming even as they drove away. I couldn't move. I just sat there, stunned, as they took her away. The silence was so loud. The next few days were a total blur. I barely slept, with my mind racing about what happened and what was going to happen. The days leading up to the trial were the worst. Every morning, I took the bus to the courthouse, which just reminded me of what Amanda had done. I remember the first day of the trial really well. Amanda was brought in wearing an orange jumpsuit with her wrists tied. Seeing her like that was a gut punch. I tried to catch her eye, hoping to give her some comfort without words. But she just stared straight ahead, totally lost in her own thoughts. Being in that courtroom felt like torture. The prosecutor just droned on, going over every detail of that awful day. The bus ride home each night, the worst. So long and lonely, it gave me way too much time to think. I barely slept during the trial, just tossed and turned all night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that smashed-up car and Amanda's crazy eyes when she told me what she did. I think it was during one of the worst days in court that I realized how bad this was messing me up. The next day, the courtroom was super quiet. You could feel the tension as the lawyers made their arguments. Amanda sat next to her lawyer, looking around like crazy. When the prosecutor started talking about the evidence, she just stood up and screamed. She pointed right at him and said he was lying, that the whole thing was a setup, and everyone was in on it. The judge looked confused, but Amanda kept yelling that he didn't get it because they were all plotting against her. Then she pointed at her head. The judge banged his gavel, trying to quiet her down, but she was way out of control. Amanda said she could hear them, and that they were working with the prosecutor. She said the voices were trying to run her life. Her lawyer tried to calm her down, but it didn't work. Amanda's eyes were wild. She yelled at the judge not to trust them, looking around the room like she was searching for someone on her side. "They're all part of the plot," she shouted. The judge called a break, and the officers came to take Amanda out. She fought them, screaming about plots and voices, her claims getting crazier and crazier. "You're all part of it," she yelled. "You're trying to make me crazy." Her lawyer, looking totally stressed, told the court that Amanda wasn't in the right state of mind and needed a mental health exam. The judge, clearly done with it all, agreed. He said they'd come back when she'd been evaluated. The next few days were a mess of doctor visits and legal stuff. Her lawyer said she wasn't responsible for what she did and that she was having a mental breakdown. The prosecution disagreed, but it was obvious that Amanda wasn't okay. Finally, the judge made his decision. He said she wasn't guilty because of insanity and sent her to a mental hospital. As she was taken away, she was still mumbling about plots and voices. The first time I went to see Amanda at the hospital, I was a nervous wreck. I didn't know what to expect. Would she even know me? Would she be able to talk normally? As I walked down that plain white hallway, my heart was pounding. When I finally saw her, she looked almost like herself, sitting in a common room with the other patients reading a book. She looked up when I got close, and for a second she smiled. We said hi, and I told her how much I missed her. We talked for a while, and even though she was confused, I saw bits of the woman I loved. She laughed at my jokes, even though it sounded a little strange. She asked about home and the things that used to be important to us. For a second, I thought she might get better and get out of there. But as time went on, our visits got harder. The confusion she had changed to suspicion. One day, she gave me this hard look and started asking why I didn't lie for her, getting mad. I was shocked. I told her I couldn't lie because they knew everything. She yelled that I could have at least tried, that it wasn't her fault, and I wasn't supporting her. I reminded her that I was here, visiting her as much as I could, even without a car. I thought I was doing pretty well. She just said being there wasn't enough. I should have done to protect her. Each time I visited, she became more angry. She said I didn't care, that I'd left her. She kept asking why I didn't lie for her, why I didn't make up a story to save her. Her paranoia got worse, and she started making crazier and crazier claims. One day she asked, "You're part of it, right?" She said I was in on the plot against her, and that I wanted this to happen. I told her that was the last thing I wanted, and that I loved her. "I just didn't know what to do," she screamed, saying I never did. She stood up so fast the chair fell over. Nurses rushed in, and they took me out as she kept shouting. Her words turned into sobs. Walking down the hall, I felt crushed. The woman I loved was getting lost in her own world, full of crazy thoughts and anger. I couldn't reach her. I wondered how much longer I could keep visiting. Each time hurt more than the last. Finally, I couldn't take it. The last time I saw her, she was a shadow of what she used to be. Her eyes, once so full of life, were now empty. She didn't even know me. Leaving the hospital, I knew it was the last time I'd see her. I tried to move on, but what happened hung over me. I couldn't shake the memories or the guilt that I failed her. The woman I loved was gone. The first thing was letting go of the life we had. It was hard, but I had to if I wanted to get better. I sold everything, the furniture, the TV, even the little things we collected. Each item felt like leaving behind a piece of my old life. It hurt, but it was freeing. With the money, I got myself a car. Nothing special, just something to drive. I found an old junker, a beat-up car that still had life in at a junkyard. Fixing it up became my thing to do. I spent hours in the garage working on the engine, replacing parts, bringing it back to life. It helped. When I finally heard the engine start, I felt some happiness for the first time in a long time. That car, with its scratches and dents, was pretty awesome. Money was tight, so I couldn't keep the apartment. I looked for something cheaper and found a shelter with short-term housing. It wasn't great, but it was a roof, and I could save cash. Moving in was hard. The shared rooms were nothing like our home, but I knew it was just for now. I sold anything else I didn't need: clothes, electronics, just the basics. Living with less was easier than I thought. It's been months since I saw her. I've tried to get my life back to normal, but it's tough. I still see her that day, with her crazy eyes and what she said. I wonder if I could have done something, anything to stop it. But some things we can't fix. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, give it a like and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more stories on this channel.